What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to do another list video, talk about 7 games I'm unbelievably excited to play this upcoming fall. These are the games I kind of go back to when I think of my most anticipated. And if your favorite game is not on this list, do not fret. I made a video, I believe, back in June where I covered, I think, 35 games or 30 games that I'm going to be playing or going to be excited for the fall. There were some near misses like the Silent Hills of the world and Avowed and Indiana Jones, all I'm very excited for, all I'm going to be covering on this channel. And again, this is in no particular order, although we have gone over the order in the past. I don't know if they've kind of shifted. Some I think have risen higher than back in June. So let's just go through the list. And I think I'm doing it through the release date schedule. So first up is actually Black Myth Wukong. This was, I think, in the middle of my list going back to the last video, but I cannot wait for this game. And, there's some questions or there's some concerns. I know the biggest one kind of tends to go back to the whole, is it like a boss gauntlet thing, right? Because they got like 80 bosses or whatever. And, from the previews, it seems like it was just one boss after the next. I'm not insanely opposed to if a game is a boss gauntlet, as long as the bosses are well designed. And yeah, you got to have some things to break it up. I think even from like pacing, it'd be very important to not have you just do like a boss rush, right? I like those modes, but to have the entire game built off of that, is it a death sentence? Absolutely not. But you do need to have things in between, and, that kind of is hit or miss from what people are saying so far. But the game looks unreal. The gameplay looks like a blast, and, the more we hear about it, the more we hear of, like, this more Stellar Blade type comparisons, which maybe goes back to, like, the Jedi Survivors and Fallen Orders, maybe a little bit more like that from the gameplay side than a FromSoft. And honestly, those are games that are my bread and butter. I freaking love the gameplay of Stellar Blade. I love Jedi, and I cannot wait for this game. So I would definitely say this game has gone up, in the ranking. And I don't have too much time after that till we get to the next big game, which is Astrobot for me. I mean, I go back and forth of like, is this my number one? Because as we get closer, I get more excited. I latch on to any new info we've heard of the game, right? Like now we've kind of gotten looks through pictures of like how the worlds look like kind of floating, almost like gummy ship style in Kingdom Hearts. And, we've heard about the length and all the stuff, I've covered in past videos. And, recently, actually, I replayed Astro's Playroom. I'm going to do a video on that on my third channel, Podcast Now, Back to the Past. And I think that really elevated my excitement. I mean, it was already super high. Astrobot was a game I've been asking for. Astrobot is a game I'm going to support in any way possible. But replaying Astro's Playroom, I realized that's a top 3 or 4, PlayStation exclusive. That's a PS5 exclusive, I should say, right? Like, that's one of the better ones. It is so beautiful. It uses the DualSense in all of the right ways and ways that nobody else even cares to. It's so much fun. And it also respects the PlayStation ecosystem, right? It's such a freaking perfect game, Astro's Play. It's just short. It's a short thing. So you give me Astro's Playroom, dial it up to an 11, and make it like 5 times the size. Oh, my dear. Like that is an incredible game, I hope, in the making. Now, this one might surprise you. Actually, I messed it up here. I didn't go in order of this one and Astro. Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. I'm going to continue putting it on my list. I think as we get closer, I'm going to get more excited for it. It sucks that WB has put us in the position where we can't really talk about certain things, but I think this game is going to be a blast. And I can't help but just reiterate, like, I think this game is going to be a lot of fun to play with other people. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to get the full version, get a full game out there, and go for it. I'm very, very excited to play certain positions, one position more importantly than any others. But I know it's been split. This is probably, you look at this, I think Black Myth has the fandom. I mean, okay, follow me through, right? Like Black Myth has the fandom, Astrobot has the fandom. We're going to get through some other ones that I think people would feel really good about the game. I think some of these, or at least maybe most of these, people feel really good going in. Quidditch, it's only some people that feel really good going in. So you got to follow me through with this one, but I am incredibly excited for it. Okay, then we go to October. Now, again, there's plenty of September games that I'm going to be getting or I'm interested in. Lollipop Chainsaw, Epic Mickey, Stalker, and Space Marine 2. So many. September is very, very packed. So is October. 2 games on my list, same day as we've said before. Metaphor, as well as Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I think Dragon Ball continues to go higher, probably between the last video and this video. I've played Budokai 3. You know, I'm going through the series. I'm probably going to stop here because I'm running out of time. I want to replay all of the old Dragon Ball games, but, you know, to this date, I've done Budokai 1, 2, and now I've done 3, and they are such phenomenal games, let me just say that. But Sparking Zero, I think, is everything. When we were a kid and we were playing Budokai, right, and we saw it and we saw how incredible it was, what we're seeing now is what we thought we were seeing back then. And obviously, I almost had a stroke, you know, telling you that situation. It's not the easiest to convey, but I really feel like this is the game of our dreams. And I mean, I don't say that lightly because, you know, when you build something up, you know, as much as Dragon Ball and as much as this game, like, yeah, you can get disappointed, but from everything we've seen, it just feels, do I want to say the P word? Perfect. It feels perfect. It looks perfect. Will it be? You know, probably not. I'm sure there'll be some things here and there, but I continue to just get so excited for this game. And now, as I've said before, kind of a specific situation because everybody buys different things, but that day is a big day because of Metaphor and Dragon Ball, and technically also Life is Strange, I think, depending on how things play out, which we'll talk about in a second. But Metaphor, I also think, is going to be a really good game. Now, Metaphor is more on trust. We've seen a lot of stuff that I really like on Metaphor. That is just trusting Atlus and trusting that Persona formula to continue to work, which they've never steered me wrong, at least since I've become a Persona fan, which was a while ago, I would say, so they've done a good job up until this point. I feel good about it. The dilemma is, how am I supposed to play a 100-hour game that takes your life? You know, I mean, Metaphor is going to take forever, and then also you have Dragon Ball on the same day. No idea how I'm going to do it, but I'll figure it out. But that does take us to my most anticipated. You know, it's stayed my most anticipated this whole time, and it's at the end of October in Life is Strange Double Exposure. Now, like I said, it's something I haven't thought about too much, but because of all of the fracturing of, like, if you pre-order it and you get the collector's edition, honestly, I don't even know how you get it, but one of them has the 2 weeks early access, right? So 2 weeks, I think, puts it around the same time, because I think it comes out the 29th. So yeah, that would be roughly around the same time as Dragon Ball Metaphor, maybe a few days later, that you would be able to play the first 2 episodes of Life is Strange. But regardless, Life is Strange is my it's my game of the fall. It's a game we've talked so much about, so I won't bore you too much in this video, but high risk, high reward. This game, you might, you know, you've heard me not shut up about it since June in a positive way. Once the game comes out, you might not be able to hear me shut up about it in a negative way. That's the risk to it, because I will be very vocal and I will be very loud, and not like attacking, not, you know, threats or anything like that, but I will voice my opinion on what I think of this game, and you know, that's just what you get for bringing back Max Caulfield. But I am unbelievably excited for reasons I've stated in probably 20 videos already. Okay, last 2, and this one might come as a surprise. This is probably one of the more, like, divisive ones, along with Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter and this one are some of the more split games of the fall in general. Dragon Age the Veilguard. So again, something that's changed since the last time to this time. I'm actually currently going through my replay of Dragon Age Origins. I'm almost done. I'm on the final mission. I've put in like 22, 23 hours. Oh my God. I mean, the game runs like complete garbage on PS3, but, and I don't know why I chose it in the first place, but the game is so freaking good. And it takes me back to the good times of BioWare, and they were cooking. You know, back in 2009, Mass Effect 1, 2, Dragon Age, all in kind of that era. Oh my dear God. But you know, things have changed, and, you know, it's not the same. And it's not the same since we even I saw a video on Inquisition last night, and it's been forever. I played Inquisition when it first came out, and not again. So it's been almost 10 years. I haven't really laid eyes on a past Dragon Age game in a decade. And so it's, number one, really cool to go back to Origins, but number two, you know, a lot can change between just Inquisition and now, let alone Dragon Age Origins and now. So I have high hopes. I want the game to be good. I think the game can be good. Will it? That's up for debate. And now the last game on the list doesn't actually have a date, which, you know, could bleed over into 2025. Therefore, it'd be like a 2025 most anticipated thing. Metal Gear Solid. It's a game I've talked about a few times, you know, once I've done my kind of deep dives into what Konami has talked about, mainly again back in June. I mean, every time I think about the game, I just think very high quality. I think it's just a very good game, and it, you know, it stems from Metal Gear 3 being an incredibly good game. So obviously, there's high hopes. There's high hopes for me. I think there's probably higher hopes for some of the more diehard Metal Gear fans. But, you know, the only thing, if I were to rank these, Metal Gear at this point might actually be at the very, lowest. I mean, look, there's like 7, 8 games here, but, Metal Gear is probably at the end, but only because I don't know, like, does it come out this year? You have Silent Hill in October, and then you do Metal Gear in November. If you don't do Metal Gear in November, I'm assuming it gets pushed to 2025. So not that I'm not excited for it, but it might not actually be a 2024 game. Oh, and by the way, I always get this question. Probably people don't watch to this point in the video. That's okay. I never include Wolf Among Us anymore. I know it says 2024. It's not. It's not going to come out this year. It would probably be top 3 for me going into the fall. It's just not going to happen, though. So I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time on a game that Telltale just wants to screw around with, at least right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Bell icons turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.